advice for investors who are watching, Manish? I mean, because in many ways you're saying that a lot has happened, so one must be cognizant of that when you make fresh purchases.
So what happens, and again, it's something I've experienced in the past, so maybe that would be of benefit to investors, is, look, the market tends to be a 75% large cap, 20% mid cap, 5% small cap type market, and that's the distribution. Few of these will graduate to box 2 and few of these will graduate to box 1. So your normal portfolio allocation tended to be a 80-20 mix, that we would keep 80% large cap for safety and 20% to give you the alpha, to give you much better. Given that we guys also came back from, we built a lot of our wealth on the small and mid caps only. But when you start doing that, you realize your portfolio mix tilts because those companies become reverse. The small and mid become 80% of the portfolio and the large become 20. And whenever something goes wrong, like you had crises in 2008, 2018 even, for no fathomable reason, they can tend to fall 60 to 80%. And that is very, very damaging for the portfolio, and that is what really scares you out of the market. Like, again, the same famous example of Infosys, it went from 16,000 to 2,700, which is like almost more than an 80% fall in a high quality company. Because when that happens, liquidity, you'll be surprised, it just vanishes in the stock and you just can't get out. And what you think my portfolio value is, whatever, 100 rupees, it looks like it's less than 50 suddenly. So if you can just keep tilting your portfolio, that if your asset allocation is okay, that you may have maybe 50, 60, 70% of your money in equities. It's very easy right now to feel you're making so much money, get out of banks, liquidity or whatever, put it all in the market. If you're not prepared for a downturn in the market, then you'll get scared out. So asset allocation to equities, number one. Within that, what is your mix in your portfolio? Be very cognizant. Too much concentration in a small or mid category, or too much concentration in one sector. Again, for example, the parallel of TMT in the 2000s. If TMT became 50, 60% of your allocation and that fell by 50, 60%, where were you? So just be cognizant of portfolio balances. I'm not suggesting this is better or that is better, but just do what's right for you and what stage of life you are at. So I'm finding people who are 60, 70. I have a cousin who's 74 years old in another city, and she's calling up and she wants to buy small caps. She wants to buy like the 3 most powerful, high volume stocks in India nowadays with 60 lakh shareholders, or is it 60 lakh or 60 million? I don't know. A Yes Bank, Idea, and Suzlon. I mean, maybe it's great companies and they have a view on it, but I mean, is it the right stock for you? First, you think about that. People will call up and if they'll ask me, should I buy a bank? And if I end up saying ICICI or HDFC, they're like, but Yes Bank goes up every week. Again, nothing wrong with it, but is that right for you? So just think of allocation in your portfolio and what you're doing.
And the other point I think which you made before as well, riding existing winners is one thing. Going into
that's
new
absolutely
things,
right. So when you're in the middle of a cycle, most horses are going to run. Don't be impatient if in this cycle, this horse handles run. For example, if let's say financials haven't run and you feel, oh my God, defense and railway is running, and you leave this and you come to this horse and this horse is already run and it's ready for a down drift or a sideways move. And you've jumped here and you know less about this than you knew about that. It's going to be damaging again if something wrong happens over there. So I think just stay away from what I call FOMO. This is not a FOMO moment in life. Don't get greedy. Returns have been extraordinary and there's no reason India won't. I still think 90% of our wealth lies ahead of us in the next 20 years. If we do 4 times in 10 years and we again repeat the 4 times in the next 10, it's 16 times. Even if we don't do 16, we go 10x from here. You really have to have patience over here. That's all. You get the right companies. If they're around 20 years from now, believe me, you'll be really wealthy.
So it's not a sprint from here.
It's not a sprint. Don't try to keep jumping. We've had a sprint,
but it's not a sprint.
Yeah, I mean, it's like in an era of T20, I'm advising play like a test cricketer.
But because you have played T20 already. I mean, most have played the T20 game. Now it becomes more of a test match. Right.
So I think just be a bit relaxed. I think the country's future is bright. The entrepreneurship is still very much there. The potential for growth over here is still very much there. When I look around the world, they're all ex-growth, highly indebted, waiting to blow up. So the opportunity is here, but just don't blow yourself up in the process.
You've got to stay in the game. You've got to be around, essentially.
Like Buffett used to say, 2 rules of investing. Rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2 is don't forget rule number 1.
Thank Thank you for watching CNBC TV18. For all top headlines and updates, follow us on our social media platforms.